Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 25th of March. I don't know why I couldn't think of the date of the month. Anyways, 25th of March 2019 to talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw. What is going on, everybody? I'll give you guys a moment or two to jump in on the live stream before we do get going here. Just let you guys gather in, see who's with us so far. We've got Anthony Menzona. We've got Mark Brown. Time to Wrestle? Okay. Beastie Boy 124. Kristen McNutt. Almighty God. Luke Might. Derek Bocek. Jeff Guevara. Joe Decker. What's going on, everybody? Before we get going, I want to ask you guys in the live chat, did you check out our new series? It premiered today. PWU Daily. Every morning I'm going to drop a video at roughly 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'm going to run down all the news from the last 24 hours and then give you some bigger stories that I didn't really talk about here on YouTube and elaborate on them a little bit. Today's big stories we did talk about were the women main eventing WrestleMania, the Lucha Bros possibly becoming exclusives for AEW in the States, and we also talked about Sting wanting to come out of retirement for a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And while I was recording, the news dropped of the Hart Foundation going into the Hall of Fame. So yeah, even breaking news can make it onto the show if I find out about it while I'm recording. So with that, I just want to thank everybody that did watch the first episode of PWU Daily. The show will drop every single weekday, Monday through Friday. Well, I can't say every single weekday, just in case something comes up with my kids, like I got to go to their school first thing in the morning or this or that. But I'll let you guys know in advance if an episode is not going to come out that day, and I'll maybe make it up later in the day or at night or something. So we'll see. But just for the most part, every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific, it should drop on our YouTube channel. So with that, after I babbled on for 2.5 minutes to let you guys come in on the live chat, let's talk about Raw. Tonight's Raw, I don't know about this show. I felt like the show dragged at some points. It did feel like not a lot happened, but the show was long, in my opinion. So, before the show even started, this morning the big news was that WWE did announce that what was I going to say? WWE did announce that the women will be main eventing WrestleMania. The Raw Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey. They should be the final match, the main match, the last match of WrestleMania 35. And I like that they announced it now and not waiting till last minute to just have the match go on last. That way you get people talking. You get all these people like Yahoo and MSN. I don't even know if MSN's still a thing. But Forbes and ESPN and Sports Illustrated. All these mainstream publications talking about the main event. So I like that they did that 2 weeks out. Luke Might in the chat says, what do you do for a living? You're looking at it. This is my full-time job. Pro Wrestling Unlimited is my full-time job. It's my only job. It pays the bills. So with that, Monday Night Raw kicked off where we were getting a kind of haphazard beat the clock challenge. There's really no reason for it other than what they stated were bragging rights. So what it was Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda were all going to be in this beat the clock challenge, and they would be paired with a member of the Riot Squad. They would each have singles matches, and whoever had the fastest match had the fastest match. It didn't mean nothing really. So Ronda Rousey kicked off the show, coming out first to a lot of boos from the crowd here in Boston. She did some weird thing where she would get on the mic and she'd say something. I think the first thing she said was like, only have one thing to say. You're welcome. And then she put the mic down. Then she goes, wait. She picks the mic back up and goes, I got something else to say. So she picks the mic back up and says that, at WrestleMania, the women would not be main eventing if it wasn't for her, this and that. So she drops the mic and she picks it up a third time. And I'm thinking, Adam Sandler, Billy Madison, today, Junior. Like, what was the use? Drop the mic, pick it up. Drop the mic, pick it up. 3 different times. Dumb. She claimed that she didn't know what a beat the clock challenge was, and this is probably just one of WWE's dumb BS gimmicks. Riot Squad would then come out for their match. Lynch would come out before the match would start and cut a promo stating that Ronda Rousey's run in the WWE was nothing before the man came around and made it relevant. Becky then came down to the ring, and before anything else could happen, before the match could start, Charlotte Flair would then come out. Charlotte came out, said that they were the main event because not of Lynch's last 6 months, not of Rousey's last year, but because her past 7 years. But has she really been in WWE for that long? I didn't think it's been 7 years since she's been in the WWE. Hold on, let me do some Googling here for a second. Let's go Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair. When did Charlotte Flair start in the WWE? Charlotte Flair technically started training in the WWE. She debuted in 2002. Wow, it's been, or 2012. It's really been that long? I did not realize that it's been that long. I really just remember her from, well, dang, okay, yeah, 2012. Yeah, Charlotte is including NXT. Wogan Kingslander's asking, is Charlotte including NXT as their 7 years? Yeah, she's including NXT as far as when she, I guess, technically first started training. So finally, all the babbling stopped, and we got the first Beat the Clock Challenge match where it was Ronda Rousey taking on Sarah Logan. Logan ran away to kill some time at the beginning of the match. Then she was caught by Rousey in an armbar submission. Rousey fought. She fought out by going... So Rousey put her in this weird armbar type looking move, and then eventually she was draped over the rope, had the armbar still in. 1, 2, 3, referee's counting it, she breaks it, gets back into the ring. Rousey then hits her with a leaping forearm, puts her in another armbar, and they call it minute 25. Now, Corey even said it, and it really looked like it. It was a minute 23, but that's just nitpicking. But Corey even said it. Corey goes, Ronda's got the first time, minute 23. And then the clock says minute 25. And Cole goes, no, Corey, it's actually a minute 25. And they're like, okay, whatever, who cares? So then the next match was Charlotte Flair versus Ruby Riott. This match did not beat the minute 25 time limit. They counted down from a minute 25. Charlotte applied the figure 8 with only a few seconds left. But Ruby did not tap out, and I like that they let Ruby not lose, because Ruby's, the main star of the Riot Squad. So then next up, we get a Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. Charlotte Flair, to start this off, though, booted Becky in the face. Lynch tried to win early with a roll-up. Didn't happen, so Becky ended up winning with a roll-up. Minute 17. Beat Ronda Rousey's time, and it meant nothing. Ronda was on the stage just yelling like, okay, whatever, that doesn't mean anything to me. And Becky's pointing at the Mania sign. Like, what did this really accomplish? Well, fast forward a little bit, we did learn that next week we will get a 6-woman tag team match where Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte will all have to team together to take on the Riot Squad. If either Ronda, Becky, or Charlotte do actually turn on their team and don't play nice, they're actually going to be pulled out of the main event of WrestleMania. So that's a little caveat on play nice, girls. So anyways, gauntlet match, or not gauntlet match, but, excuse me, the Beat the Clock Challenge, I thought it was kind of just meh, worthless, not needed. And then next up, we had a 2-on-1 handicap match. It was supposed to be Finn Balor taking on Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush would come out and state, Leo would state, hey, I'm supposed to be in this match, but unfortunately I'm not cleared because your buddy Braun hurt me last week, but we've got a backup, and it was Jinder Mahal. Match went roughly 5 or 6 minutes. It was Finn versus Bobby and Jinder instead. Match went to commercial break pretty quickly. After a commercial break, Balor made a comeback on both men until he was tripped by the Sings. He responded by taking out everybody except Rush with a big flip dive. He tossed Mahal back into the ring, hit a coup de grace for the pinfall. Again, not much happened in this match other than Bobby Lashley was not pinned. Jinder Mahal was pinned. But because Jinder was pinned, Finn will now move on to WrestleMania to challenge for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. After the match, Lashley took his aggression out on everybody else other than Finn, well, or Leo, actually. He power slammed and spine bustered both Sings, and then he speared Mahal. Next up, they then sent it to a video of Elias in Times Square walking around playing his guitar. He said that he would be the greatest performance they've ever seen at WrestleMania. He claimed that Times Square wasn't normally dead at this time of night, but there were people everywhere just to see him perform. Or was normally dead at this time of night, my bad. But the people were here to see him perform. Before he could start, a random guy with a guitar showed up to perform instead. Elias told him to go perform in the subway. They then plugged later on tonight Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe. Corey Graves noted that they had a storied history, but have never wrestled in the WWE. Joe Decker in the live chat says, wasn't the rumor Finn versus Taker? Never. That rumor was never a real rumor. That was people online, basically these. Okay, I'm gonna air my grievances right now. There are a lot, and I mean a lot, of YouTube channels that go out there and make these videos that are all nothing but clickbait and fake stories just to get clicks. They go out there and they say, 10 superstars that will quit WWE after Mania. 5 matches that you're not expecting that will happen at WrestleMania. NXT call-ups that were meant to happen but scrapped. They all come up with these random, either just news stories, or they come up with these random bullshit top 10 lists and stuff that aren't real, that are only made to get clicks. And then they go out there and get like 200,000 clicks a video. For what? Making crap up? Doing a subpar video with... And I'm not even talking about Sean's View Entertainment. No, Legend Stealers. Sean's View Entertainment usually is not... No, I'm not talking about him. He's not the one that does this kind of stuff. He tries, for the most part, to do most of the straight and narrow news. But I'm talking about these channels. I don't even know the names. There's one that's like, I don't even know. There's a lot of them that it's just like, all they do is fake stories. Or what they do is they tell a true news story, but they make a thumbnail that has nothing to do. It'll say like, WWE superstar out with an injury. And then you'll see a picture of like Alexa Bliss hurt. And Alexa Bliss maybe in the video for like 2 seconds. But it's not even about her. She's not the one that's hurt. Or it'll, it's all clickbait. Well, enough of that. But I'm just saying, that's where a lot of these fake WrestleMania rumors come from every year. All these YouTube videos where people like to start stuff, make stuff up, and then they just say, well, plans changed. Isn't that the thing? Plans changed. Noah Hall says there was this one video saying the reason Dean stabbed Seth in the back because he get Renee. Yeah, that one was dumb. I know exactly what you're talking about. The one where they were like, the storyline's going to be that Dean Ambrose is going to reveal that Seth and Renee were having an affair, and Dean found out, and nobody else knew that Dean knew. And it's just a bunch of crap. They make stuff up, or they put these crappy ass dumb yes, Fully Clutch. That's one of them for sure. But anyways, back to Raw. Sorry about my rambling. Yeah, Legend Stealer. That's another one. So we got Aleister Black and Ricochet taking on the Revival in a non-title match. And if you've seen this match once, you've seen this match every time, unfortunately. But it's always good. It's always good. Match went about 8-9 minutes long. Michael Cole noted that Black and Ricochet beat the Revival a few weeks ago in a non-title match. After a commercial break, Cole said Black and Ricochet could pick up a non-title win tonight that may earn them a title shot in the future. So going forward, there was kind of a messy spot where Ricochet barely caught Dash Wilder with a dive to the outside. Then Black followed with a double knee strike on Dawson. Ricochet then used a soccer kick on Dawson and a neck breaker on Wilder. Then he made the tag to Black. Black used strikes on Dawson, then took out both men with a springboard moonsault. Black followed with more strikes and a knee to the head. Dawson then kicked out. Dawson faked punched and nailed a DDT, but Ricochet broke up the pinfall, and I liked that. Dawson has this nice, strong-armed DDT that just looks brutal, and I'm glad that Aleister Black didn't kick out of it, because it keeps the move looking strong, but didn't have to be the finish. So eventually Black would kick both men with the Black Mass. Ricochet then nailed Wilder with a 630 for the pinfall victory. Crowd got a little quiet during this match, but kinda picked up at the end. I was a little surprised about that one. Next up, we got a segment between Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. McIntyre came out and told the crowd that they may not like him, but they should respect him. McIntyre said that a week was a long time, and he wanted an answer. He was nervous, anticipating Roman Reigns' answer, but didn't blame Reigns for taking his time to come up with why he did or did not want to face him. McIntyre had a clip for us to see and replayed what he did to Reigns 2 weeks ago and noted that he had finished him right off the bat, and he wanted to finish him again at WrestleMania. They also included a clip of McIntyre saying that Reigns beat leukemia but couldn't beat him. McIntyre said that he took out Dean Ambrose and beat the number one contender Seth Rollins. McIntyre would then go on to state, "Let me speak to the man, Joe," and asked if he had put his family through enough already. They already had to watch Daddy fight for his life. Does he really want them to see him have to go through that all again when he faces McIntyre at Mania and loses? Crowd booed at that one, and it really wasn't that good of a line or a thing to say at all, to be honest. But they did chant for Reigns. McIntyre then threatened to stay out here all night if Roman wouldn't come out, and then all of a sudden Roman came out. Reigns stood toe-to-toe with McIntyre and said a line that I didn't like. He said, "This is Roman accepting the challenge, and I'm going to say something else as Roman. Don't you ever talk about my wife and kids again." Now, I know this isn't it, but what is it, a split personality thing? He's Roman and he's Joe. I get why they did the Joe thing in the first, like, my real name is Joe, I'm battling leukemia. That was fine. But why do they got to keep going? Why do you have to say, "I'm answering this question as Roman"? Like, really? The two then started to brawl. Roman kicked him right in the nuts. But that was about it for Roman Reigns. Reigns tried to attack McIntyre at ringside. Upon re-entering the ring, McIntyre caught him with a low blow, followed by a Claymore kick. Referees checked on Reigns as McIntyre left. So only got a modest reaction from the crowd. Crowd wasn't really into much tonight at all. After commercial break, McIntyre was shown walking through the back when he ran into Dean Ambrose. Ambrose wondered why McIntyre called him a cockroach, or why McIntyre claimed that he exterminated him. Ambrose didn't feel exterminated and challenged McIntyre to one more match tonight. He said, "Last man standing." McIntyre didn't know what Ambrose was why he was even standing after the beating he took last time, but promised that after tonight, he won't be ever standing again. Then next up, we did get a match between Natalya and Sasha Banks. Match went about 7.5 minutes. Excuse me. Like most of the matches tonight, went to commercial pretty quickly. Natalya did the spot where she stepped over and on her opponent while running the ropes. Excuse me. But Banks caught her leg and transitioned it into a crossface. Natalya countered that into a sharpshooter, but Banks fought out and flipped Natalya face first into the turnbuckle. Suddenly, Bayley was attacked on the outside by Tamina and Nia Jax. They jumped into the ring, attacked the women in the ring, and unfortunately it was a disqualification. This then led to all the women brawling and Beth Phoenix getting the best of Tamina, hitting her with the Glam Slam. They then chanted, the crowd did, "You still got it" for Beth Phoenix. Jeffrey New, no. He did not say, no. Jeffrey New says in the chat, Roman said he's answering this not as Roman. No, Roman Reigns said that Roman accepts the challenge. Oh, wait, you may be thinking of... So he said Roman accepts the challenge, but I think when he said don't talk about my wife and kids, he may have said this isn't coming from Roman. Don't talk about my wife and kids. So it's just the weird... Why do you gotta... What? Just be Roman. Just always be Roman. So in the back... Or no, before we go to the back, we get a video package announcing that the original Hart Foundation, Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, will be going into the Hall of Fame. I thought it was cool that after the video package aired, we then cut to Natalya and Beth Phoenix watching it in the ring. Natty was crying as the crowd cheered her on. Then her and Beth pointed up to the sky. Very great moment there. I liked that. Then we go backstage. Charlie Caruso. Charlie Caruso is wearing this big old beige, whatever color it was, shirt. Looked like what happens when you're at high school, you're in the cafeteria, some nerd knocks into you, your food, your tray just plopped right all over your nice fancy clothes, and all they got in the lost and found is an oversized sweater that you wouldn't ever wear. That's what it looked like she was wearing. Anyways, she interviewed Kurt Angle about facing a tough opponent tonight. Angle anticipated Samoa Joe coming in from SmackDown for the match. He said that this tour wasn't about handshakes, it was about leaving on his terms. He was honored to face Chad Gable and Apollo Crews over the last couple of weeks and was ready for Baron Corbin at Mania, which got some boos. Corbin would then interrupt and mocked Kurt Angle. Angle then got in his face, said screw you, and walked away. We then got a weird moment of bliss segment. So this took place in the ring instead of on the ramp, which we understand why. Like at first I'm like, why are they in the ring? It made sense once the actual segment took place. So they're in the ring, and Bliss calls down her guest, Braun Strowman. Before that, though, she played some clips of everything going on with Braun Strowman, Colin Jost, and Michael Che. Yeah, I learned how to say his name because they said it like 5 times tonight. Michael Che. Anyways. So Braun Strowman would come down to the ring, and then on the big screen from the set of SNL, it was Michael Che, Colin Jost. They talked for a little while back and forth, not really saying too much. Stupid Colin Jost was making fun of Braun, saying, what are you, just a 5'7", 180-pound guy? Why should anybody be afraid of you? Like, what? And the Michael Che guy was like, calm down. What do you talk about? Have you ever seen the guy? It was dumb. He goes, at least I'm not wearing a Mets hat tonight. And he nonchalantly puts on a Yankees hat. Because, they're in Boston for Raw. Crowd booed. Jost went on for a while, making fun of Strowman a little bit more. Strowman then suggested Jost enter the Battle Royal at WrestleMania, or else he'll find both Jost and Che backstage and take care of them himself. Che heard this and accepted on Jost's behalf. Jost then added, Che should be in the match as well. Strowman told them both to just shut up. He asked Alexa Bliss, you want to make this official? And I didn't know that if you're the host of WrestleMania, you're also the general manager of WrestleMania. And plus, what's this whole thing with R-Truth saying that him and Carmella are the actual hosts of WrestleMania? I don't even understand any of that. So, I don't know. Time to Wrestle in the chat says, Braun needs a Snickers commercial. Yes, Braun and Alexa need to do a Snickers commercial. Screw that damn Gable and Rude commercial we got tonight that was dumb. Anyways, Alexa goes, I don't know about putting them in the... Never mind. Yeah, let's do it. And she puts them in the Battle Royal. So apparently, Michael Jost and Colin Che are going to be in the Battle Royal. And then I think it was Corey Graves nonchalantly goes, or it might have been Renee. One of them goes, I wonder what they're going to wear in their match. Like, really? Go back to Elias. He's standing in front of a Madison Square Garden, talking about it being the world's most famous arena. But it's not the Garden like in Boston. He's holding a cup saying he's got his herbal tea, and then some guy puts a quarter in it. And you learn, he's got an empty cup. He then rants at the guy for giving him the quarter in the cup that the guy already took off. That was it. I think this is basically the kind of segments we're going to get at Mania. We then get a rematch from, I think it was last week or the week before. Might have been last week it was. Baron Corbin versus Apollo Crews. Corbin was introduced as the former Golden Gloves boxing champion, former U.S. champion, former Money in the Bank winner, and Boston's favorite son. Really? It's like when you got those people that are like, AKA this, AKA this. Crews hit a frog splash, but Corbin kicked out. Corbin followed soon with the end of days for a clean victory. Quick match. After the match, Corbin then gave another end of days to Apollo. WWE then stated that tomorrow, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch will all be on ESPN. Young said that it would be their first interview since the announcement that they will be main eventing WrestleMania. Next week, all three women will be, like I stated earlier, in the, six-woman tag team match. Noah Hall in the chat says you need to figure to drive. No. I'm not going to go buy a bunch of WWE figures. So then Seth Rollins would come out, cut a okay promo. Rollins said that he would cut straight to the chase. He went on, cut a long promo though. Rollins said that he and Lesnar weren't cut from the same cloth, and their roads to Mania couldn't be any more different. He wanted to be the kind of champion that inspired all the littles like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and Ric Flair used to do. Even Triple H and John Cena inspired people. Lesnar was not the kind of champion who inspired people. Rollins always knew that he wanted this match, but didn't realize until recently how much it meant to him and all of the fans. He mentioned doing an autograph signing yesterday in Boston, meeting a bunch of different fans, and them all having the same message: please beat Brock at WrestleMania. Rollins said that message hit him right in the heart, and he felt like he has no choice now. Now, I have to beat Brock Lesnar, he said. Rollins refused to let Lesnar be the champion and defined the future, and he couldn't let this continue anymore, casting a large shadow over the industry. Rollins pointed out that the fans, they're his army, and together they will burn it down. Before he could finish that line, though, or right as he finished the line, Paul Heyman would interrupt. He wanted to thank Rollins because now he knows that the match of Mania is a handicap match. Lesnar against Rollins and the entire WWE universe. Heyman liked those odds and assured that their chances of winning were 0. He said Rollins sounded pathetic for needing the affirmation and wondered if he would ask for the thoughts and prayers next time. Heyman mocked people who asked for thoughts and prayers because their pets and distinct relatives needing surgery. He suggested Rollins would be asking for thoughts and prayers because, he's getting taken to Suplex City. Heyman then went on to state that he hoped Rollins took it personally when he and the entire universe lost at WrestleMania. Heyman went to leave up the ramp and Rollins started chasing after him. Heyman fell down immediately and began begging for his life. He stated, "I hope you win," and suggested that Lesnar will put him up to this. I didn't understand that ending of this at all. Rollins laughed and said that he wasn't here to ask for thoughts and prayers. He was here to answer them. He said we were going to march into Suplex City and then let the crowd chant and burn it down. Heyman was great here. Rollins said he was going to cut to the chase, cut a long promo, and then Kurt Angle came out for his match. Angle came out for his entrance with Heyman still sulking on the ramp. We then got an 8-9 minute match between Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe. Before the match started, Joe cut a promo. He said he forgot his bouquet of flowers and even thought that they have a lot of memories together, but he's not sentimental. He said it would be a cold day on the wrong side of the afterlife before he let Angle go riding off into the sunset. Joe said he had a special gift for Angle. And then tonight in Boston, he said, I quote, "Couldn't think of a better way to say goodbye to you forever than putting your ass to sleep one last time." Great. Joe's always freaking great. And the match was actually not bad at all. When the match started, the two went face-to-face and mimicked their first meeting in TNA, with Joe giving Angle a headbutt this time. Kind of, changing it up a little. He took out Angle with a suicide dive, and then went to commercial break. Like I said, all these matches started and went straight to break. Joe was in control after the commercial break. Angle cut him off and used rolling German suplexes for 2. Joe countered an Angle slam and hit an inverted atomic drop. Big boot senton for a 2. Angle came back with an Angle slam for a near fall. Joe fought off an ankle lock attempt and hit a power slam for 2. Angle avoided a muscle buster and barely hit a missile dropkick. Angle sized up for an ankle lock, but Joe caught him with a Kikina clutch. Angle then rolled it into a cradle, pinning Joe 1, 2, 3. The match was alright. I thought it was better than what people were expecting. And I liked the finish a lot because Kurt wins. But technically, you can say, well, Joe was about to tap him. Joe looked good in defeat, basically is what I'm saying. And he needed to going into WrestleMania where he's defending his U.S. title against Rey Mysterio. So then Triple H came out and cut a promo. Somewhat surprisingly, this was not at the top of the hour, which I expected. Triple H congratulated the women, Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte for being the main event. He called it historic. He said every woman in the back, every woman who ever stepped foot in this ring knows how historic this is. He said it wasn't given to them, they actually earned it. He said moments like that made him happy, like having a dry microphone, and not the one Batista spit all over last week. Some things don't happen and don't make him happy. Like the letter he struggled to pull out of his jacket pocket from Batista's lawyer, and stated his client wouldn't accept a WrestleMania unless there was another stipulation. Among the rambling in this letter, Batista wanted Triple H to admit that he only started Evolution to help him retain the world title. Triple H congratulated him on finally realizing this, which drew laughter from the crowd. Triple H ran down some of the things in the letter while mocking Batista the entire time. He said Batista was better off having been a part of Evolution, considering all the titles he won after leaving them. Then noted Batista quit once he realized he couldn't beat John Cena. He claimed Batista wanted the Mania date pushed back to comply with his filming schedule for Guardians of the Galaxy. Reality check, he ain't filming Guardians of the Galaxy right now. He's filming Dune. He went on for a little while and finally got the stipulation that Batista wanted, and Triple H would have to retire if he lost. He said Batista beat up a 70-year-old man for this. He's like, I already agreed to this. He said at this point in their careers, if he can't beat a douchebag like Batista, he doesn't belong in the ring anyways. He ready to put his career on the line. Then got another vignette from Elias. Elias was performing on the rainy streets of New York City. No one was watching him. Some guy then stole the money right out of his guitar case, then stole his guitar case. We then learned that next week on Raw, Kurt Angle will be facing SmackDown superstar Rey Mysterio. It'll be his final match ever on Monday Night Raw. And also, the Beast Brock Lesnar will appear, and I would assume the Beast Brock Lesnar appears because next week's Raw is the final Raw before Mania. So we got a roughly 10-minute match. Last man standing, Drew McIntyre versus Dean Ambrose. The match started with only 11 minutes left in the show, so you know how long it was going to go because there's no overrun anymore. Mike Roma raced through the rules of the match as McIntyre entered the ring. Ambrose crashed and burned on a diving elbow attempt to the outside. McIntyre tossed him to the barricade, and Cole frantically cut to break. Back from commercial break with about 5 minutes left in the show. McIntyre nailed Ambrose with a kendo stick to the gut and the back. He then stuck the point of the stick in Ambrose's face. Ambrose clotheslined McIntyre out of the ring and followed it with a suicide dive. Young groaned and mentioned the bruises left on Ambrose's body from the kendo stick. McIntyre followed with a headbutt that catapulted Ambrose chest first into the steel grates under the ring. McIntyre followed with steel steps to the face. Ambrose got to his feet before the count of 10. Got back into the ring. Or no, didn't have to get back into the ring. My bad. McIntyre then pulled a chair out, put it in between the ropes, but Ambrose managed to drive him into it instead. Ambrose followed it up with the dirty deeds. McIntyre got up at 7. Ambrose set up a table in the corner. McIntyre then picked him up and drove him straight through it. Ambrose got up at 5. McIntyre nailed him with a Claymore kick. Almost tried getting up. Ambrose tried getting up, but he fell right back down. Referee counted 10, and that was it. Very, very, I guess you could say, cold ending to the show. Crowd was not really into this match at all. Like, I really didn't hear much reaction from the crowd. And that was about it. And McIntyre played by the rules, even though it's the last man standing, no rules. So he really didn't do anything too dastardly. Ambrose had nobody come out and help him, not Reigns, not Rollins. So it was just like, what was this even for? Just because, oh, hey, Dean's leaving soon. Let's kick his ass again. So, kind of a subpar episode of Raw, only 2 weeks out from WrestleMania. I was a little disappointed by it. I know some others online were as well. And I was disappointed. Others online were disappointed. Now I want to hear if you were also disappointed by tonight's Monday Night Raw. If you guys want to give your thoughts on tonight's Monday Night Raw, you can do so by calling 559-475-8473, 559-475-8473. You can also text in your thoughts at 510-906-1341, 510-906-1341. Oh yes, Fonzie, I did miss something. So there was a segment backstage, came back. It was a quick segment right after a commercial. So Charlie Caruso catches up with was it Alexa? No, what am I thinking? It's Sasha. He talks about all the women that have been trying to challenge for the women's tag team championships, and basically Sasha just goes, "They all want a shot. We said we'll take on anybody, any brand, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Let them all come. We'll face them all at one time." So basically, they did but did not confirm, unless I've missed something on Twitter since Raw ended. Fatal 4-way match for the WWE Women's Championships. Let me pull up Twitter, WWE website, just to double check, as I haven't checked Twitter or anything, because I was getting the live stream ready and we've been live. But let me see if the match was confirmed. Yes, it was confirmed. Okay. The WWE tweeted out the following, stating, "The WWE Women's Tag Team titles will be decided at WrestleMania when Sasha Banks and Bayley defend in a fatal 4-way match against Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka, the Iconics Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, and Natalya and Beth Phoenix." So we are getting the fatal 4-way for the WWE Women's Championships. Again, like I said, I hadn't seen Twitter since Raw ended, and that was announced literally 10 minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago. So while we've been live, it was actually announced. So cool. Now again, if you guys want to give me your thoughts, you can either text in at 510-906-1341, or you can call in at 559-475-8473. Both numbers are in the live chat as we speak. I'll put them in again just in case you missed them. Just looking over the live chat. Let's take this call first, actually. Caller on the air, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Sam?
How's it going?
And another subpar Raw. And
oh, yeah.
I'm going to be more interested in SmackDown. How about that, huh?
And hopefully SmackDown's a good show.
Yeah, but it's like you have 3 hours and you can't even make half the show somewhat entertaining. Like, there are bits and pieces, but it just felt dry to me. Even the Beat the Clock challenge, like Ronda's reaction to Becky winning, I don't know why. She was like, "So you didn't win anything," and I looked at it as like, you're doing it wrong. Because like, think about this: like any great heel, like Triple H and them, if they lost something, like if one of their teammates from Evolution lost a big match or was supposed to be his opponent, Triple H would be like, "Crap, god damn it!" I'd be losing. I just felt Ronda was kind of dry.
But here's the thing with that. Ronda's whole thing is, I didn't lose, so what does this mean? This doesn't matter. This has no implications on the WrestleMania match. It doesn't mean that Becky gets an advantage at WrestleMania. It doesn't mean that Ronda's at a disadvantage. To Ronda, it was just, they made me go beat this girl, and I beat her really quickly. You beat her 7 seconds faster than me, whoopity-doo. That's Ronda's thinking of it. Because there's no stipulations, no stakes.
Yeah. It's just the whole thing so dry. Well, I got 2 questions for you, man. The first one is, did that Alexa Bliss moment, like that moment of Bliss segment, felt really corny or what?
Very, when the Colin Jost guy was like, you're Braun Strowman. What are you, 5'7" and 180 pounds? Like, you can look at the guy and know he's not that. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
I felt like that was funny because I was like, there's no way he's doing this on accident. Like, he's doing this to shade him. And then he put on the New York Yankees hat in Boston. I was like, all right, this dude knows what he's doing. That was a little bit funny to me.
I mean, I guess. I mean, are they supposed to be heels, the bad guy? I don't understand any of this.
I guess they're supposed to be. I guess the white dude, I forgot his name. I guess he's supposed to be like some idiot, and the black dude's like, dude, you really screwing this up.
Right.
But the second question is, all right, I have the whole WrestleMania card written down, and when you look at these matches, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches on WrestleMania that could be show stealers, 3 headliners that could steal a show, 3 sneakers that are sneaky under the radar matches that could definitely pop off. You got Triple H versus Batista, hopefully United States title, Joe versus Mysterio. You got Styles versus Orton. You got Kofi versus Bryan, W Worldwide title. You got Rollins versus Lesnar, Universal title. You got the triple threat, Lynch, Flair, Rousey. You got Reigns and Drew. All those matches could be the best match of the night. The only matches that are subpar is the Angle match, the women's tag match. I don't know how that's going to go. Balor and Lashley, I don't really care about their feud. And the Raw tag team, the SmackDown tag team title match. And then for some reason, I don't know how they've done it, but I'm not really interested in Asuka's match. But everything else, like those 7 matches or 6, those look like fire matches. So my question for you is, this 2019. 2009 to me was probably the last really, really good WrestleMania. And the only reason why it's not higher up is because of the order. They should have had Undertaker versus Michaels go last, even though Hunter and Orton had great build-up. Orton was a great heel. But they had to follow up Taker and Michaels' perfect match. Do you think that this WrestleMania will be the best WrestleMania in the last 10 years? Has a possibility on paper.
In the last 10 years? Ooh, that's a tough one.
So like going from 2009 on through.
I mean, there's a very good possibility of that. But at the same time, it's like, I heard today that they want to not have the show go as long as it did last year. So that does mean if there's matches like the Raw Women's Championship match, like the, what's another match? Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston match. Those matches are probably going to get good time. And because of it, we're probably going to get a number of really shorter matches, like 5-6 minute matches, if they want to give those bigger matches a lot of time. So that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know, because there's too many matches, so you got to kind of, you don't know what match is going to get good amounts of time and what matches are going to get cut short.
Yeah, the ones that I see that I think they're going to get good amount of time, of course the main events, like the big championship matches, but Styles and Orton I feel like can work within a good time. Joe and Mysterio could really make a good story in good time. Reigns and Drew I think is going to be a slugfest. That's going to be some good time. And Triple H and Batista, they're probably going to have the most time because his Hunter's in it. And he wants
I
to
don't
tell
think
a
so
story.
at all. No.
You don't think he's going to have the most time out of all of them?
Just because,
not all of them.
Just because it's Triple H, it doesn't mean that he's going to give himself the most time. Triple H is not like that at all.
So who you think is probably going to have, well, I already know what you're thinking, the Raw Women's triple threat.
It's probably going to be
who you think
that.
is going to have like, huh?
It's probably going to be the Raw Women's match is the longest match of the night.
Yeah, well, who you think is going to be like second to that?
I mean, it's tough to say. I could see the Brock Seth match maybe only going 10, 15 minutes, maybe 10. But I could see them maybe giving Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston a lot of time. But to your question of could this be one of the best WrestleManias in the last 10 years, I don't think so, because I don't think it can beat WrestleMania 31.
31. I'm trying to remember who was on 31.
I mean, 31 had the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar main event where Seth Rollins cashed in. It had the Seth Rollins Randy Orton match.
That was dope.
It had, Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt wasn't much, but it had John Cena versus Rusev. That was a pretty good match. It had a really...
the Intercontinental Championship match with Daniel Bryan, I think.
Yep, ladder match that opened up the show, opened up the main card. But I think that's probably been the best show of the last decade. But with that, got to get to some more calls. I want to say thank you and have a great night.
You too, man.
All right. With that, let's jump into the next call here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim, what's going on?
Not much. What's up?
Oh, well, I have a couple quick questions and a comment. The comment is, I thought that whole SNL thing was just kind of funny. I just think because I'm just dumb and like dumb stuff. But I have a question about that. Was that live?
I don't think so, but it could have been. I don't know, honestly.
Because I remember last week's whole Batista thing. Michael Cole did a really good job playing off like that was live. But the thing is like they're in the ring. It's it's Braun and Alexa who are doing it. So I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard anything.
But my second question is, what's your opinion on having SmackDown superstars come to Raw? Because I just don't think that they give a shit about the Rants anymore. Excuse my language.
I get that they wanted to have Kurt face some of his biggest opponents, so that's why they're doing it. It makes sense. But unless Kurt's going to have a really, really big match next week on SmackDown, then why have Ray come to Raw is my question.
Yeah, that's exactly my thinking too. Especially since he's involved in a feud with Samoa Joe. But then again, they could play off that next week, saying who took Kurt Angle to his limit more or some crap like that. But last question is do you think since the crowd is so against the whole Baron Corbin thing, do you think that they'll change it, or do you think they always had a plan in place for maybe a swerve at WrestleMania?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You don't think that they do something with an angle where Corbin gets hurt or Cena comes out to beat the crap out of Corbin or something like that?
As of this past weekend, last I heard, the match was still Angle Corbin straight up.
Well, okay. But thanks for taking my call, as always.
All right, thanks for the call and have a great night. I see some of you in the chat are saying that the stream is buffering. Fortunately, there's nothing I can really do to fix that. I'd have to go into the stream settings that you have to set before I go live. So I'll take note and fix some of those settings for the next live stream. Sorry about that, guys. If it is lagging or buffering for you, I do want to apologize. But looking over at the text messages before we do wrap things up. This person says, Seth Rollins is the next People's Champion. How much you want to bet that the roster will go on strike until Kofi goes to Mania? I can see something like that. Instead of doing the Daniel Bryan Occupy Raw thing, on SmackDown they can do all the different superstars saying, why are you doing this to Kofi? You got to give Kofi his shot. Kofi earned his shot. And the wrestlers stand up for Kofi. I can see something like that. Looking at a couple more text messages here. This person says, is there going to be a women's battle royal? I did hear today that they will do the women's battle royal. Don't know why they didn't just announce it. A couple more text messages here. With about a week and a half left before WrestleMania, will Dean Ambrose have a match? And at the Superstar Shakeup, what show will he be put on before the rest of his contract expires? I haven't heard anything about Dean Ambrose, not wrestling anymore, or not having a match with me. I don't know. There was a rumor that was, confirmed false today, saying that Dean was done on TV and that attack a couple weeks back by McIntyre was supposed to write him off of TV, but it was all said to be a rumor. I mean, it was all confirmed as a rumor because Dean wrestled tonight. So I don't know what they're doing with Dean for WrestleMania. Last text messages here. Just asking about the Alexa Bliss, Braun Strowman, SNL guy stuff. I didn't like that. The person says they didn't like it as well. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to say thank you for joining me tonight talking a Monday Night Raw. Tonight's Monday Night Raw was a kind of a lackluster show. I didn't like it. I thought it was not a good show to be building up WrestleMania in only 2 weeks. With that, you can follow us right here on YouTube. It'll let you know when we go live if you hit that notification bell or when we post a new video. Follow us every day now, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time when we post PWU Daily. We run down all the news from the past 24 hours and then give our thoughts on some of the